ACC Media Days left no shortage of talking points for Florida State fans. Now, I've already talked about the comments from Josh Farmer and Pat Payton being pissed off about the playoff snub from last year, but we also got to hear Mike Norvell talk about his thoughts on the team and the upcoming football season. Now, he said a lot, but I thought a few things in particular were interesting, and we'll go over those here in just a sec. But first, I want to ask that if you love Florida State football and consume as much content as you can like me, definitely consider subscribing to the channel and liking this video. We jump on here multiple times a week with videos like this, recruiting stuff, conference realignment stuff, just about everything we can. So if you're a diehard Florida State fan, you definitely want to be subscribed and hit that little bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. Now let's get into head coach Mike Norvell's comments. He started out gushing over the improvement that he's seen out of transfer quarterback DJ Uiagalelei, who is expected to be the starter next month in Ireland. He said DJ has made strides in how he's communicating and building relationships with his skilled players. And we talked about that before on this channel too, how he was flying guys out to the West Coast to train with them during the offseason. He said DJ has made phenomenal growth in his rhythm and timing. Now, we've all seen DJ play football for years now. And there's been good moments and there's been some not so good moments. And I know a lot of people aren't super high on DJ as a quarterback these days, but I actually fall into the camp of thinking that this will be his best season yet. Now, you guys can let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below, but DJ has never had a staff like this before that can develop a quarterback the way Mike Norvell can. If you disagree, I'd like to remind you that Clemson had 3 5-star quarterbacks on their roster for the last few years, and have done much of nothing with it. In fact, Clemson has regressed each year. Now, I saw DJ do better at Oregon State last year, but even that isn't what this staff can do. I think Mike Norvell and Tony Tokarz are some of the best in the sport right now at developing a quarterback, and I think DJ will be no different. Mike's excited to see him take the field, and so am I. Now, a lot of Florida State fans have had questions about the receiver room, and obviously that's fair, with a lot of young guys, a lot of transfers, and Mike addressed that. He said he's very excited about the receiver position and all the guys they have, but he's kind of waiting. He needs to see who's going to emerge and take the next step to be that consistent go-to guy. Now, there's a number of bodies there. Like we said, Ja'Kai Douglas, Kentron Portier, Hakeem Williams, Malik Benson, Destin Hill, a couple new transfers, and a whole group of high school receivers. So depth isn't the issue. But after losing Keon and Johnny to the NFL, this team needs at least one, if not two, very good, very consistent receivers to step up. I think that is one of the bigger questions for this team in 2024. We know this defense will be very good. We know what we have at running back. But I think the receivers will be big for not only DJ's growth, but just for production on offense overall. And could be the sole position that makes the difference between a 9-3 team and an undefeated team. Now, of course, we're talking about Florida State right now, especially if you're the head coach. You got to praise that defensive line that is still elite even after losing 2 early round draft picks. And Mike Norvell raved about that as well, saying that he's excited about the personnel. He thinks we have 2 of the best defensive tackles in the country right now, referring to Josh Farmer and Daryl Jackson, who are best friends that finally get to play together. He talked about the defensive end position being as deep as it's ever been. Now, there may not be a guy as dominant as Jared Verse, which honestly still remains to be seen. You still have Pat Payton. You brought in 3 elite transfers that we've heard nothing but good things about, with Marvin Jones Jr., who I'd project as a starting end on the other side of Pat P. But you also brought in Tamiwa Durajaye and Sione Lolohea, who both seem like they could be very good as well. So I think when you sub out the way Florida State does, you want to know that there's not really going to be a drop-off there. And I think Florida State actually has that kind of scenario at defensive end, which could be pretty scary to think about for opposing offenses. Then Mike took a minute to overall discuss the growth throughout the summer, praising players for their hard work and commitment. We also heard him a few months back saying that this was probably the best start to winter camp he's ever had. I know a lot of us still have questions about what to really expect from this team after losing so much talent, but if we keep hearing praise like this, especially with fall camp starting this week, it could really get fun to see. Especially if we get answers to a few questions like the receiver group. This team could be elite in 2024, competing for another conference championship and a playoff spot once again. Now let me know what position group you're most excited about, what position group you may have questions about, or just overall what you're looking to see out of this team in 2024. Definitely let me know down in the comments. We appreciate you guys tuning in, talking some Florida State football, some comments from Mike Norvell here, and sort of previewing the upcoming season a little bit. If you enjoyed the content, definitely drop a like and consider subscribing. We'll be back soon. Go Noles.